So in the previous tutorial, we looked at Stack Navigator. In this particular tutorial, we're going to look at the tabs layout. Okay, we're going to build a layout just for tabs. Now, what are tabs for? Tabs are basically the bar at the bottom to switch between main sections. So if you remember at the start, when we first created this project, automatically it gives us a tab navigator. That's exactly what we want to see right now. So what I'm going to do now is to make it my job easier, I am just going to comment this out here. Okay. And then at the bottom of it, I'm just going to create a tab navigator. So instead of stack, I'm going to import tabs. Okay. So instead of stack, I'm going to import tabs. And then I'm going to do this. Tabs, similar to what we did for the stack, because remember that it's a tabs. And then we're going to end up with something like this. Cool. So we have tabs here. Okay. Now, automatically, the minute I create tabs, you don't even have to do anything, but it automatically makes all the pages you have in that particular folder automatically becomes tabs. So if you have 20 of them, it will automatically make everything into a tabs at the bottom. So that's something that we're going to look at later on, how to not have that, so that in case you have extra files in there that you don't want it to be a tab, it doesn't have to be at the bottom there. Now, already we haven't even done anything, but it's already made our pages into that. So if I click on my index page, I've got an index. If I click on About Us page, it takes me to the About Us page without having to use this. Okay, so that also works, but these now become buttons that allow us to go from different screen to another screen. Beautiful. So what we're going to do here is we're going to probably give it some title. We want it to look good. We want to change how it looks. We want it to make it look better. So again, I'm going to do tab dot screen, and I'm going to give it a name. So for example, a name, I'm going to give it an index, and then it's going to have some options, and it's going to have a title. Then I'm going to create another one for the About Us page, which is also going to have something similar to About Us page. And then what you discover is we have these now. Now, usually the tabs usually comes along with icons. Okay, so we can have icons that works alongside of it. So one of the things is you can change the header title, the header tint. Again, you can change things that you want to add to it. So we want to add some icons to our tabs screens, because at the moment it's giving us an icon that's at the bottom. So what we want to do is, usually you would see React Native being code being broken down like this. So we have options. Now, one of our options here is a header title. There are other options we can also apply or also bring into our project. One of the titles we're going to have is a header style. You can have different kind of things, but one thing I want to focus on right now is we can have a title. So a title can be of a home, and you see that we have the home at the top of the screen. And then another thing we can have is tab icon. Now, when it comes to icons, we are going to have to import some expo icons to help us so that we can display whatever icon we want to do it. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So we have some tab icons here. So in here, I'm just going to add a few things like a color and then a size, so that we can pass in some size. And then instead of this null value here, okay, we are going to have this here. Okay. Now, what this does is this allows us to be able to import some icons or use some text or to display whatever we want to display. So in this particular example, I'm going to import at the top of my screen. I'm going to import some material community icons. Material community icons is a type of vector kind of icons from the Expo library. It has so many other Expo icons libraries that you can use. So I'm going to use material community icon, and then that also have its own properties, and one of it is name, and you give it a name of the type of icon that you would like. So home, and then the color and whatever you want to pass in. And then what you see here is we've now got a home button for our home. Okay, so that is how you actually add an icon. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to make a copy of what I've done so far, So I'm just going to copy these options here, right? I'll copy these options here that what I've just done right now. And then I'm going to change it to about, and then about us page. And then instead of home, I'm going to change it from home to, what should I change it from home to? Maybe child. Let's see if a child has, if there's an icon called a child. Okay, there's no icon called a child. I used to have quite a lot of things. Okay, let's do another home variant. I know that I have something like that, home variant for it. Yeah, so these are different kinds of things that you can use in your Expo project. There are so many things that you can use. Let's try home again. You can have home, you can have about us page, you can have different kinds of screens that you want to have. It is completely up to you, okay? Depending on whatever you end up using. So you can have different kind of icons you want. I have the name here, I have the home page. Let's say, for example, I want to change it to, let's say, list. Maybe let's change it to a list. Okay, doesn't like list, so there's nothing called list. Okay, let's change it to home again and let's see. But there are different kind of icons that you can use. Ideally, sometimes when I'm building, I just check what I would need and what was going to help me and whatever I would like to have. It's completely up to you. Let's try magnify. Just trying to think of some things off the top of my head. Cool. So you got a magnifying icon here. Let's say we wanted to make this an account. So let's try account and see. So we have accounts. We can have account circle. So these are different kind of icons that you can use. And that is our home, two home buttons. Ideally, it's supposed to be an about us page. We can change the title to about, and then have about us, and then have about us as well. Remember, the title is what goes on at the bottom, and then the header title is what shows up here. So the header title is here, and then this title here is what appears underneath these icons that we're using here. Okay, and that is our tab screen, how you create a tab screen. Okay, so that's how you work with tab screen and how you're able to do that. Ideally, you would usually use this across your entire application. So you can see here that we've mixed a bit of, we've got, even though we've got an about us page, it leads us to an about us page as well. Now the question is, how do you use these two? Well, think about it this way. Let's say you had a login page. Now on your login page, once you log in, you get your home screen. Then in your home screen, you would see information, you see so many things. And when you click on that particular home screen, it takes you to another screen. And on that screen, you may have tabs underneath there. So it's dependent on you, depending on what kind of project you're trying to work on, depending on what kind of application you're trying to build. It's completely up to you. But you can have so much fun with the Stack Navigator and the Tabs Navigator. Okay? And I hope this tutorial helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.